What's going on, everybody? Welcome to After Prison Show, and I feel dirty and disgusting. I'm just getting in from cutting 2 yards today. We got business booming, the moving and the landscape. But that's got nothing to do with what I want to share with you today. I just want to mention that in case I look kind of dingy, kind of grungy. A lot of people have been making comments about my hair as of late, saying I look like Marv from Home Alone. That's actually pretty funny. Folks, today I want to talk to you guys about a very important topic, and that is what to do if ever, and knock on wood, you never find yourself in trouble and potentially facing going to either jail or prison. And again, I hope this is a situation that none of you ever have to face. If you've ever been there, I hope you never have to go back there. And if you've never been there, make sure that you never go there. The reason this topic is important is because ever since doing the prison consulting gig with my first prison consulting client, Michael Blakeman, who is now serving a 7.5 to 15-year prison sentence, a lot of people have been reaching out to me saying, hey, Joe, you know, I'm getting ready to go to prison, or I've got these charges. What should I do? So it's because of those emails that I really wanted to make this video and address, you know, some things that I think are very important that you should do if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're potentially going to either jail or prison, and especially if you've never been in trouble before. But before we get into all of this, I do want to take a moment and address the sponsor of this video, an awesome mobile game by the name of Raid Shadow Legends. You know, not all RPG games need to be all cartoony. And enough with the candy, rainbows, unicorns, and bright colors. It's time to get real, raw, dark, epic, and awesome. Raid Shadow Legends will take you to the world of dark fantasy and realism. For those who don't know, Raid Shadow Legends is a brand new free-to-play collection RPG game that is taking the mobile landscape by storm. Almost 10 million players worldwide have already downloaded the game in just 3 months. There's over 400 champions to collect, aka the characters that you can use to play with in this game, such as Gallic right here, check him out. Or Sniper, check out Sniper right there, she got the bow and arrow though. Or even the Crusader, and look at the sword he's got right there, that's a big sword. In this game, you can explore 1 million plus champion builds, discover 13 spectacular locations, enjoy a fully voiced story campaign, and raid with friends in a clan. And the best part, it's totally free. What I love about this game is that everyone can find something for themselves. Some love collecting characters, some are all about the deep storyline and graphics, and personally me, I'm down for fighting against other players live. Personally, I think this game is amazing, but you don't have to take my word for it. With over 200,000 reviews, Raid has an almost perfect score on the Play Store. The game is growing super fast, and the highly anticipated new update is now live. And there is a new awesome rewards program for new players. Get a new daily login reward for the first 90 days that you're playing this game. And folks, if you're interested, you can find me under the username joepguerrero. And if you're quick enough, you just might be able to join my clan. So folks, what are you waiting for? Please go down below to the descriptions of this video, download for free Raid Shadow Legends, and when you do so, you're gonna receive 50,000 silver and a free epic champion as a part of the new players rewards program. So good luck, and I'll see you there. And again, a very special shout out to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. Now, with all of that being mentioned, what do you say we go ahead and we do? That was us sneaking out of the interrogation room because we've just gotten arrested for the very first time, head first into this video. What to do if you find yourself in trouble for the very first time and there is the potential that you could be going to either jail or prison. Now folks, the only way that this would ever happen is if you out there doing things that you know you shouldn't be doing, or you get caught up some kind of a way and you catch you some charges. But what do you do if something like that does happen? What do you do if you slip up, somehow stumble, and fall on a couple of felonies, enough to sure enough be sending you to prison if you get found guilty? What do you do? Well, folks, I'm here to tell you. Hi, I'm Joe Guerrero. Unfortunately, I've spent much of my life in and out of trouble, jails, and prisons. And because of that, I've learned a thing or two. that I'm willing to share with all of you. Boy, that sounds like a presidential nominee type of a commercial right there. If you ever find yourself in trouble and there's the potential that you could be going to jail and then prison, the first thing that I hope you're going to do is that you realize this is the first and the very last time that you ever, y'all see me keep rubbing my eye? I think I got a grass blade inside of my retina. Ever want to be in trouble. The very first thing that you need to do if you ever find yourself in trouble is realize that this is the last time this ever needs to happen. You need to tighten up and fly right. And with that realization, I hope that you were scared. I hope that you were petrified. You should be. I can remember the very first time that I ever caught a felony. Never forget it. I was 18 years old. Out there running around with people that I knew I didn't have no business running around with. Older people. People that I thought were cool. I was younger and easily influenced. I was like a young chick because I think young chicks could, for whatever reason, be easily influenced. If I ever have a daughter, you got to realize, and I know I'm making a lot of jokes, but if you ever find yourself in trouble, the first thing you got to do is realize you'll never want to be in trouble again, and you're going to get through this situation and make this the first and the last time. And be scared. You know, you really should be scared because it's a scary situation. You got no idea what could potentially, anything could happen inside the courtroom. Catch the judge on a bad day if you want to. They didn't make his breakfast McGriddle all the right way at McDonald's before he got to court that morning. You don't want to be the first person he's seeing when he's ready to take out his McDonald's frustrations on you. And you know, if you find yourself in trouble for the very first time and you're scared and you know, you want to straighten up and fly right, there's such a wide variety of the type of trouble that you could find yourself in. You might catch some really severe charges where you might not get another chance. But hopefully that's not the case. You know, if an individual gets in trouble for the very first time, I hope that it's something minor enough where they can, but not a minor though, because those are two, I hope it's something little and, boy, that just sounds like a bad charge. I hope that it's something like that you can get another chance at life with. Like a grand larceny, you stole something. Cut off some catalytic converters. You was out there messing with the fire, pow, whatever the situation may be. You know, some people can get in trouble for the very first time and they don't get a second chance. And you know, if you're not that individual, but you're getting in trouble for the very first time, you never know. It could be the next time, or the time after that, or the time after that, that you don't get another chance. You could end up getting 3 strikes, and you don't never want that. That means that you're going to get a life sentence. As cliche as it may sound, me saying the very first thing you should do is recognize the error of your ways. As cliche as all of that may sound, there's a very important reason for it. And that's because I'm a realist. And in my own personal situation and in the situations of so many other individuals that I know, that first time that you get in trouble, it ain't the last time. And in fact, all it is the pebble at the top of the mountainside that's ready to be that snowball effect going down. Meaning this is going to be the first of many more times that you get in trouble. And what I would hope to be able to do is to be able to help somebody not be like me or Dave. That's right, Dave, I'm throwing you under the bus. Or Rabbit, or Shannon, or Cody. Well, Cody's never been in trouble yet. Cody's still young, though. Young, wild, and... Cody! You ain't doing nothing you ain't supposed to be doing, are you? Recognize the error of your ways. Realize it's the first and last time. Be scared. That's number 1. The very first thing that you need to do if you ever find yourself in trouble. Number 2. Let's go ahead and move on. I'm feeling pretty good right now. We're filming this video late in the day, too, after we've been out there in the 90-plus degree weather. The new guy, Mike, almost had a heat stroke, but I'm feeling good. I was on the 0 turn, though. I'm the boss. I get to sit down on the job. Never been a boss before, though. It's kind of a new thing. Number 2, you need to learn as much as you possibly can about what you are actually facing. If you don't know nothing about the court and the legal system, the judicial system, the penal system, boy, there's a million different ways you can say court and jail. If you don't know nothing about that, you need to do your research. You need to understand the severity of whatever it is that you're facing, even if it may not be that severe. You need to understand it. Because like I had said with number 1, you go up into that courtroom, anything can happen. On any given Sunday, that's a football terminology meaning any team can lose. And you might just be on the losing side of a team inside the courtroom. You need to understand what you're up against and what you're facing and what that carries. And there's a number of different ways that you can go about doing this. Whether you're in the jail, whether you got locked up, you ain't got no bond, you're waiting for a bond hearing, they tell you you ain't getting no bond because you're a flight risk. I don't know why a first-time offender would ever be a flight risk, but it can happen. Maybe you got long legs. Maybe you got a private jet. You know, you'll meet a lot of guys who are locked up who tell you they've been on private jets. And I know for a fact not many of them ever have. Just because you cut out a picture of that G6 out of that XXL magazine, you got that posted up in your locker, you don't have that. You've never even seen one of those in real life. If you're in jail, you might be able to go to a law library. You might be able to talk to other prisoners. You're gonna meet jailhouse lawyers. You're also gonna meet snitches as well. So you gotta kind of weed between the two and skirt that line very carefully. You know, talking to a guy could be a good way for you to find out what you're up against, but you're gonna wanna do that kind of indirectly. This ain't my first rodeo. This is not my first rodeo. Who got next on the phone? I gotta call my mom. Who got next? Like I was saying, this is not my first rodeo. You've been here a lot of times too, though. Oh, you've been here 40 times. 40 times? You ain't but 18 years old. Hey, look, let's just say, because you've been here 40 times, let's just say hypothetically. That's the right word. Oh, hypothetically. Let's just say hypothetically, I got caught with, you know, with a couple of pounds of the 5 pow going through the airport. What's gonna happen to me? Life! I can't do life! But maybe you're not in jail. Hopefully you're not. Hopefully you're out on the street being able to prepare for this upcoming case that you have. And a good way that you could do this is by Googling, you know, what your charge is. What does your charge carry? You might even use some unorthodox methods, like reaching out to a prison YouTuber. I know a lot of people have reached out to me, and I know there's a lot of other prison YouTubers, so you can shoot your shot that way. You really want to learn as much as you possibly can about what it is that you've actually gotten yourself into, and just like with the very first thing that we mentioned, you know, realizing the error of your ways, realizing you'll never want to go through this again, and being scared, you really want to be scared as well. And when you're researching, when you're talking to another prisoner or Googling something, or talking to another prison YouTuber, they're going to tell you some things, or you're going to read or learn some things that are definitely going to do just that. They're going to scare the bejesus out of you. And again, that scaredness should be a motivating factor for you to realize you need to do something different after this. Number 3, lawyer up. Absolutely get you a lawyer. If you're sitting in an interrogation room and the cops is trying to question you and you ain't got no lawyer present, you need to say, "Where's my lawyer? I want my lawyer." Even if you ain't got one. They got to give you a lawyer. Now, what they're going to do, because if you ain't got no lawyer walking through there with his briefcase, if you ain't got no lawyer, what they're going to do is they're going to take you to jail. They're going to cuff you and they're going to take you right to jail. And that's going to be a scary thing to think about. You could either talk to the cops or they're going to put the cuffs on you if you lawyer up. You've seen it all the time on Law and Order, NYPD Blue. But lawyering up or getting a lawyer should be done the same way you with number 2, doing as much research as you can. You really want to learn and know who you got representing you. If you can afford to get you a paid lawyer, get you a paid lawyer who comes recommended. Don't just get somebody who says that they're a good lawyer or you think is a good lawyer because they're charging $50,000. Just because they're charging that much doesn't mean they're going to be all that. You know, if you're locked up, you're going to meet dudes who talk about lawyers. You're going to hear a lot of lawyers' names that are thrown around. And that's actually some of the best ways that you can learn about who's a good lawyer in your area. When Dave got locked up and we got Dave that lawyer, I knew about that lawyer because of all the times that I've been locked up. His name was the most spoken lawyer name in the local area in terms of probation violations. Now, I'm going to go ahead and mention this right here. I meant to mention this at the very beginning of the video. It would probably have been a lot funnier had I done so. But like I said, if you ever find yourself in interrogation, you got 2 options. You can either talk to the cops, you know, tell them, "Hey, it was me. I did it. Put the cuffs on me. TTG for life. Trained to go thug life." Not a lot of people are doing that. Or, like I said, you could say, "Where's my lawyer? Get my lawyer, pig, and bring me a Pepsi and a cigarette. I'll tell you everything you want to know." Yeah, that's the other alternative right there. You know, If you find yourself in trouble for the very first time, you know, I would not be keeping it 1,000 if I didn't throw this out here, because a lot of people are doing it. Ain't no need to beat around the bush. Tekashi 6ix9ine's doing it. A lot of other people are doing it as well. God, I've met so many. I ought to do a video of the top 10 snitches that I met in prison. But that's another alternative. That's another option that you have as well. You could just tell. You could tell. You could write statements. You could write a novel, a short story, an essay. You could give them all the information in the world. And not just about yourself. About anybody else that you know who's doing something that they ain't supposed to be doing. Bob did not take out his trash last week, neither. That's a homeowners association violation right there. Go lock Bob up. Well, I sound like a homeowner, don't I? You could tell. I don't recommend it, but there is that as well. But let's get back to not telling. Let's get back to keeping it a stack, keeping it G. You know, getting a lawyer, if you're fortunate enough to be able to afford a paid lawyer, do your research, know who you're hiring. Don't just hire anybody because you've seen them on a TV commercial. You know, really do your research. But if you can't afford a lawyer like so many others, and you have the right to remain silent, and anything that you say or do will be used against you in the court of law, and if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you. Boy, I know that way too well. The Miranda rights. I'm going to get them tattooed on me. That would be a boss tattoo right there. Boy, you got the Miranda rights tattooed on you though. Oh, you know you've been in some trouble. Oh, God. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you. And if you end up with a court-appointed attorney, well, you're going to have to learn to be an attorney yourself. Because it's a 90-10 ratio that you're going to end up with a decent attorney. 10% that you will, 90% that you won't, and they're just going to get you to plead guilty. That's what they do. They try to get you to plead guilty. But I've seen dudes take court-appointed lawyers to trial. Ooh, I've seen them get their boots smoked too. But if you end up with a court-appointed attorney, you better do all the research that you can about your own particular case. And sometimes you got to wear whatever it is. If you did the crime, you better be prepared to do the time or tell. Those are your options. But get you a lawyer. And most importantly, if you're in interrogation, don't you never go saying nothing to the police just for a Pepsi or an extra cigarette. A lot of times you can't even smoke an interrogation now. Because anything that you say in there without an attorney, just like the Miranda rights say, can and will be used against you in the court of law. Sorry. I had to stop in the middle of filming this video to go sell a couch. We sold the brown leather couch, and I had to help a guy get it loaded up in the truck. We sold it for 50 bucks. Had it listed for 75. He talked me down to 50. It is what it is. Moving on. Number 4. Do everything that you can do in an effort to make yourself look better when you go up inside of that courtroom. If you're sitting in the jail and you ain't got no GED, work on getting your GED. Get in some schooling. Get in some NA or AA classes. Start going to church. Start doing Bible study. Whatever it takes so that when you walk up into that courtroom, see, there's 2 ways to do this. You can either snitch, tell, get that extra hot dog tray, or you can work toward bettering yourself. And those ways that I had just mentioned before, those are a few ways that you can begin to do so. You want to be able to show to the judge when you go up in there that you realize you have made mistakes. You don't want to make no more mistakes, even if you end up making more mistakes, because a lot of people will after that very first time that they get in trouble. Jail and prison, unfortunately, will become like a revolving door to some. Don't let it be you, but do everything that you can to make yourself look like a changed man. This is so important. You know, I actually wrote a song about this while I was in prison. I'm a changed man, I'm a changed man, I'm a changed man. That was a throwback right there. Cannot believe I actually filmed a video of me trying to play the guitar and sing at the same time, as cringe as that is. I mean, it emphasizes and it really showcases how important becoming a changed man when you've gotten in trouble actually is. I'm not telling you to go write a song about it, and I'm most certainly, definitely not telling you to be doing no singing up in the courtroom. I mean, unless you're going to decide to tell, because that's also called singing as well. And not only do you want to present yourself as a changed individual, a person who realizes you've made mistakes. You know, when you go up into that courtroom, you need to accept ownership and responsibility for the things that you've done. Your Honor, I made a mistake. I'm only human. I'm not perfect, Your Honor. I did this. But I also told you what that other guy did too, so come on. You gonna work with me? You gonna work with life? Life's still life? Accept responsibility, own up to your mistakes, and show remorse for what you've done. Those are some things that I think are absolutely paramount when you're going to court, when you're in trouble for the very first time. Those are things you absolutely have to do. Moving on to the fifth and final thing that I've got on this list of, what to do when you find yourself in trouble for the very first time. And what number 5 is something that, I can relate to. I see other people dealing with, and maybe some of you deal with this as well. But number 5 is get out of your own way. You have got to get out of your own way. And what exactly getting out of your own way means is stop being stuck in a rut. If you're stuck in a rut, okay. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to sulk? Are you going to dwell? Are you going to cope through addiction? The only way that things improve in an individual's life is when the individual decides to start doing things to make things change. Change only happens when you make it happen. And for the longest time in my own personal life, I was stuck in my own way. I could not get out of my own way. Whether it was negative situations in people, girls, horrible, horrible relationships, trying to fit in with all the wrong people, using drugs, dealing with addiction, feeling like the world owed me, feeling like there was a justification for everything. Well, I can't find a good job. Nobody's going to hire me. I don't have any skills. I dropped out of school. All of those are excuses. Stop making excuses. Stop justifying and start doing. Like Nike, just do it. Nike's pretty hated at this point. I still wear Nike though. When you remain stuck in your own way, when you can't get out of your own way, when you're beating yourself up and kicking yourself even more than you feel like the world is kicking you when you're down, things definitely ain't going to change. And in fact, the only way that they might change while doing that is change for the worst. Find yourself deeper in addiction. Find yourself thinking crazy, bad thoughts. Or find yourself doing dumb things. And staying not only stuck in your own way, but also still continuously and maybe even constantly getting in trouble. If you find yourself in trouble for the very first time, get out of your own way. Recognize that this is what it is. Hopefully you're going to make this the last time that you're going to be in trouble. Research the severity of whatever it is that you're facing. Get you some good court representation. Do what you need to do in an effort to present yourself and to also become a better, changed person and get out of your own way. For the longest time in my own personal life, I stayed getting in trouble. My life didn't feel normal unless I was running from something. Running from the police, running from some people who wanted to beat me up or maybe even worse, running from my problems. And when I started doing things the right way, after so long of doing them the wrong way and constantly being in trouble and locked up, it didn't feel normal at first. I'm going to be honest. That's the truth. It did not feel normal. But at this point in my life, and I hope that you will find yourself where I am, so far separated from the past, the negativity, the trouble, the addiction. At this point in my life, 4 years, almost 4 years, October makes 4 years I've been released from prison. 4 years released from prison after 7 years in prison, so that's 11 years. It's been 11 years since I've used drugs. It's been 11 years since I've had to deal with the police and go to court and go to jail. I was still dealing with the police in prison, so whatever. But at this point in my life, I'm happy. And I want all of you out there to be that as well. I hope that this video is helpful. I hope that this video is somehow inspiring, somehow entertaining. I tried to add a couple little skits and some little laughy scenes in there. But overall, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you're able to take something away from this. And with that, if you enjoyed this, please leave a like and a comment. Let me know exactly what you thought about this. And as always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace! God, my back, though. We got another moving job tomorrow.